to the podcast AI Searched, where we talk about machine learning and AI in every industry. I'm so excited to have here Damir and Alen with me today from AI Škola in Hrvatska, and to tell us a little bit about their experience, their past, and how they got into this together. Damir, you've lived in China for a little bit of your life.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in Asia compared to Europe?
Sure. So yeah, I spent a year in Japan and then 11 years in China. I came back to Europe in 2021. As somebody who did humanities and social sciences, it was incredible to see how China is changing. So, you know, if you had like a lab where you would look at social behavior in China, it's like sped up 10 times. So the city I lived in called Xiamen is a small town with 4 million people. And the size of Croatia. And while I was there, I did a PhD in anthropology. Later, I got into gaming, into development. And one of the things that always was fascinating to me is how quickly Chinese people adopt technology. So, for instance, QR code payments, like we have here in Croatia with Keks, and with now you can pay by barcode for internet banking. This is something that in China we started using in 2016. So the biggest Chinese app called WeChat, made by Tencent, is a fully integrated app where like you don't need to leave the app to buy tickets for a train. Scan a QR code to buy a ticket for the bus or the metro system. Send up to 50,000 or 7,000 euros per day directly via chat. So it's a fully integrated system, which is completely changing the way that you think about money, about convenience, about how quickly and easily you can pay for something.
Yeah.
So that was massive.
Incredible. Yeah, we're way behind here. I would say in Croatia, maybe in different parts of Europe, sending, Cash App is working in the UK, and sending money is a little bit easier, but the limits are usually around $1,000 until you can, verify your bank or identity or something. So that's incredible for convenience, especially.
Yeah.
Now, Alen, you have stayed mostly in Europe here, right?
Yes.
Working a little bit in Switzerland and Croatia, and some, of course, more global companies. What's your experience? I've seen so much of your digital storytelling, but you do a lot of AI, VR work. What's your favorite thing that you've worked on?
One of my favorite things I've worked on was with a company. I did marketing for them, but they created an app that would help you visualize an apartment or a house that you wanted to buy in VR. So how it would work, you would put on a VR headset and then you would see the apartment in real life. So what they did is made a technology where you would take a LiDAR scan of a house, and then using artificial intelligence, it would generate a Blender model for it, and you would be able to go and walk through the house, try to place your own furniture from there, like template stores, interact with things, think how you would lay down, you can see the sunset, the days passing, and so on.
Imagine this would be great for IKEA or other furniture stores also. I've always wished for that, so I always designed my bathroom, for example. I designed it.
IKEA has it.
Yeah.
You can use the
IKEA has
AR
an
app.
AR app where you can take your phone, take your apartment, like take an image of this studio, and then, how would the table look here? And then you go through their tables, you swipe, and it shows in real time on your phone.
Plop it in.
Yeah.
That's fantastic for me, because I feel like every trip that I take, to go to a store takes me at least half an hour minimum. Walking around IKEA is like 3 hours.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
It's
a labyrinth.
designed.
Yeah.
It's designed for you to stay there. There's a snake.
Exactly.
Are you familiar with the temptation snake design in retail?
Yeah.
Right.
And you just keep following and following, and then you have a pause for food, and then you keep going, and
Yeah.
1,000
So
euros later, you come home with everything you don't need.
They put
100%.
everything in front of you to tempt you to buy more things.
Yeah.
So you can't skip over certain parts of the buying experience because they will just try to sell as much as they can. Right?
Exactly, consumerism at its finest.
Yeah.
But that's incredible. What other things were you guys able to achieve with the VR lenses? Do you have any other use cases?
Well, there are a couple of other use cases that were really interesting, one of which was flying a drone in VR, or where people would learn how to pilot remote drones in virtual reality instead of doing it in real life, and that was kind of a good educational experience. But outside of VR, what that company did, that I worked for, was a lot of machine learning. So another interesting project they had was they took a LiDAR scan of a field, and then using artificial intelligence, they would figure out which crops were unhealthy, needed more treatment, and so on, based on patterns they saw in the past of similar data.
Incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, so you don't have to spray the entire field. You can just...
Yeah, 100%. Or you can remove the crops that are unhealthy and affecting other crops, and that significantly helps the overall field be healthy and provide a good, how do you say it, crop.
Yeah, for next year's. Yeah, incredible. I love that. How did you guys get together and meet for AI Škola, so AI school? What was the, catalyst? Did you know each other from before, or you kind of just got together through this project?
Well, for me, I've been also using artificial intelligence since, I would say, we all use artificial intelligence whenever we open our email or buy something on Amazon, because there are these algorithms in the background which are doing a lot of kind of legwork for our personalized experience. But when I really went into using AI as an individual was when I was doing game development in China. So I was a narrative designer in a Chinese game company, and one of my tasks was to create new characters. And then the way that I would do that, in 2019 started using GANs. So GAN is a generative adversarial networks. So basically it's a machine learning system which has two parts which are fighting against each other. And the result of that is you get images, which can be a modification of a couple of images that you input. So it's very similar to what Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and some of these other generative AI models are doing. But at that time, it was very, very basic. So the way that you would do it, you would try to kind of like mash up like different photos to get specific, let's say, faces.
Yeah.
And the way that it works, I got very interested in that because the way that GANs work is you basically have a generator which creates an image, and then you have a discriminator, which is like, so we can imagine it like this. So the generator is the painter, and he's trying to paint the Mona Lisa. And the discriminator is like the policeman or the agent who is looking for forgeries.
Yeah.
And what he does is he looks at the quality of the Mona Lisa, of the fake Mona Lisa, and says, not good enough.
Okay.
The moment the discriminator said this is not good enough, the generator creates a new image based on the feedback of the discriminator. So, exactly. So the generative adversarial networks learn from each other. They feed from each other. So the better the generation of an image is, the better the recognition of how good this image is. And this happens in a feedback loop, and this is basically how Midjourney or Stable Diffusion works.
Yeah.
So I was very, very interested in learning about this from a theoretical point of view, but practically what it did, it just gave me like a very clear idea of how this can be used for, let's say, character development or ideation of visual materials for a marketing campaign, for anything to do with basically stuff that creative agencies do and takes weeks to do.
Storyboarding, marketing. I mean, even now on TikTok and Instagram, the qualification of a video to go viral is very low, and just being able to create things with Midjourney and Sora that are completely AI generated, they can still go viral. So they're still successful in the sense of a marketing campaign that is low budget.
Yeah.
So it's incredible that was 2016, right?
So that was 2019. So this
so even pre-COVID, yeah.
Yeah, pre-COVID, and in the meantime, I helped co-found another startup, and we did really well. But the team basically moved to Asia, and one of the reasons why I didn't want to continue working with them is because I would have to move to Hong Kong, and after 11 years in China, I had enough.
Yeah, ready to go home.
Exactly. So Alen and I and Jura, our third co-founder, we met up. Actually, we met during those times when I was in this other startup. And one thing that I really love, I was a professor. I taught at the university for 5 years when I was in China. Like, one of the things that I really enjoy is education, because education is, you can, this metaphor with the candle, you can use one candle to light another, and it doesn't diminish the flame of the first one. Knowledge is like the best thing that humans create.
Yeah.
And
it's like just planting another seed, another tree in the forest, and I think there's just so many things to learn, especially now. I mean, I would say my whole lifetime, things have changed so much, you know, computers, phones, everything, you know, from the iPod Nano to the iPhone now, things are just constantly developing the way we interact with technologies.
I was born.
Constantly.
I was born before the internet was a
Yeah.
mainstream thing. So I remember going to a library,
Yeah.
looking for a book, and if the book was already out, there's nothing you could do. You had to wait for a week or 2 weeks until it returns, right? It's. I mean, you know, my nephews, like the older one is 26 and the younger is 19. They never lived in a world like that, and probably a lot of our audience here is never lived in a world where like you couldn't get the information. So it's a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah, yeah. Alen, how did you join in on AI Škola?
Well, AI Škola is originally my idea because I always really found education to be my point of interest. I almost went to study as a professor. I have a technological background, but I've always been interested in teaching. I took like an exam to go study English in Japan and be like a teacher of English in Japan. And it kind of always was having that education in the background because it really helped me as I came from extreme poverty. We were relying on public free food. We went to Caritas and so on. And I was lucky enough to be in a generation where we had the internet. Unlike Damir, I did not have to go to the library. I was able to find education online, to learn how to work, to find remote jobs. And that really helped me go from that really poor state to kind of live a life worth living. And I feel like AI is even a bigger help for people who came from poverty, who don't understand or are unable to achieve certain things, but they can now with AI. Because AI gives you the ability to create something even if you have no technological background and you just want to tell a story worth telling. I mean, there are people creating movies with AI. If you look at any type of online community, for example, let's go for Marvel movies. There's going to be like fiction stories, there's going to be written comics, fan fiction, and fan movies and so on. And they're always like poorly made, but you see the community.
Well, it's gonna get better.
But you see that the community is passionate. And then now with AI, people are going to be able to tell their own stories. They're going to be able to create such wonderful things, present their ideas without the limitation of I don't know how to code, I don't know how to design, I don't know how to make a video.
I don't know how to make a video.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be.
You get your idea somehow into words and on paper or onto the program, you can kind of create anything. I know I have really vivid dreams for me, so sometimes I really like typing into ChatGPT or into Midjourney every little detail so I can get that image that I'm imagining versus drawing that out for me would probably take 12 hours, which I used to do a lot.
if you have the skill, right? Like that's the thing. So like being able to draw, being able to produce is a skill that requires some serious time, effort. But today, for the first time, the tables have turned. So I don't have a technical background. I have a humanities background, and I always felt like liberal arts degrees, humanities are these ways in which you kind of understand the world. Yeah. Like you have a massive amount of information, very general, but you can pull from many different sources, from classical art, from classical literature, from critical theory, from philosophy, etc. And all these things, what they allow us to do is to think better critically. Mm-hmm. So we can develop our critical thinking. We can create a framework for when we think about something, how to think about it. And what happened to me was I loved drawing, I loved art, I loved movies. I almost went to like an art school as a high school student, but I ended up opting for the more classical kind of way, gymnasium, as we call it in Croatia, gymnasium high school, which is a prep school for university. And what happened was, like now when AI kind of started becoming more and more permanent in our lives, I realized what happens is, if I have a very clear idea, and I can verbalize it, I can use precise language. If I use my language like a laser, I can create exactly the thing that I want. So it's not anymore about the technical ability to draw or create something. It's about the mental ability to think something through very, very clearly. and you will get results immediately. And this is something that we do in AI School. We are teaching people how to properly ask questions.
Yeah, I think that's also in my university. I was went to arts university, and the main thing that I learned from studying there for 4 years was how to continuously keep learning, how to continuously be curious and ask the right questions, because without asking the right questions, you're not going to get very far. And it's much different than a technical school, especially technical hands-on schools that are doing a lot of, programming and job prep, and they graduate and they're ready to work, they're ready to program, and that's also like a very valid school.
I mean, without them, we can't do anything, because
Yeah.
they are the basis for
Yeah.
us being able to use our language like magic.
Exactly. And
The
so-
technical part is also magic.
Exactly. So this like kind of two sides, because before I think arts-based schools were kind of lesser viewed than technical schools, and now this is the first time in history that you don't necessarily need to just work in a museum or in an art history classroom or something, that you can actually create something in the industry that could be better. Also, as you said, like giving opportunity to people who literally have a phone, not even a new phone, but they have some sort of phone or some sort of laptop, they can, launch their career and create something, even if it's a public computer.
Learn something. They can go to the library, go on a public computer, connect to the internet, and have the knowledge of the world on their hands. And what we really want to achieve with AI School is give people the tools to learn, to create something new, to change their careers, and to be even better. Because we don't believe AI is going to replace you. It's not going to change you, it's not going to take over your job, but people who are using AI critically and powerfully and are really thinking about how they can employ AI in their everyday private and work lives, they're going to replace you. They're going to be faster. You're going to, as you said before, it takes me 12 hours to draw something. But what if you got inspired by Midjourney, drew it faster? What if you wanted to first show a concept to your boss and then go draw it? Yeah. Instead of drawing 5 concepts, you can give 5 concepts in 20 seconds. And then create the right one. Yeah. It's not as if the creative part of being human is going to be completely replaced by AI. It's going to be empowered by AI.
It's going to be augmented, and this is why, in a way, so my previous startup had to do with augmented reality. We were creating digital toys and pets in shared virtual, in basically shared spaces, in augmented spaces. But like the AI abbreviation for me, the more and more I think about it, it's not artificial intelligence, it's augmented intelligence. Because what it does, it helps us augment our basic capabilities, right? So what we can do is we can create things faster, as Alen was saying. We can prototype, we can get that writer's block, that artist block out of the way. We can just even, we can even prompt ourselves by saying something like, I need to create a new project and I'm not really sure what I want to do, but I know it has to do with education, with using machine learning. Give me 5 prompts. So like, the moment where you're like, I don't know what the next step is, like it actually doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and I think even in general in an organization, your boss or even critics or investors, they want to see a proof of concept. They want to see something on paper, and being able to provide your idea in a visual thing, because we're as humans are inherently visual people, just really provides a lot of value long term. And if you're not wasting 6 months trying to develop something to show them a proof of concept, let's say app, you can actually give them those visuals a little bit early on. It's going to be much easier to find investors and much easier to grow from there. Not
even just visuals, some of the other things that we're doing, maybe you can talk about some of the other courses that we're creating for B2B.
For business to business, what we really want to do is empower them to make all of their processes easier and to eliminate people who are doing mundane jobs, because people are generally creative, and if you have to put them constantly doing something mundane, it kind of kills their vibe. So what we do is we look at a business and try to see, okay, what are the everyday things and problems that you're facing? And then it's going to be like, we have 20 meetings and there always has to be someone on the meeting taking notes and sending emails. AI can do that. And then we do not have like a video studio. We don't have someone who can be in front of the camera. Hey, AI can make an avatar, it's gonna sound like a human, and it's gonna help you present your ideas. And then, but we do not have like a marketing budget, we can't pay a Facebook ads expert. It's okay, there is an AI for that will help you create your Facebook ads and so on. Like the amount of things you can do with AI is really astounding. And for me, what really helps the most for people is when they learn that it's personalized. What I can do is, let's say I want to lose 10 kilos, I go to AI and I talk to it. Act as a fitness instructor, act as a nutritionist. This is my life. Ask me questions what you need to know about my life to help me make a meal plan. And then it makes me a meal plan. And then how can I stick to this meal plan? And then it gives me advice. Then it helps me meal prep. Then it helps me cook.
Yeah.
Then it gives me a workout.
Yeah.
And it's completely personalized on my data.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think I grew up in the U.S., so we had that, FDA food triangle with which people are disputing now that is not, let's say, correct. And we grew up with that.
Don't eat so many carbs.
And not so many carbs.
Yeah.
Right. And who said that that's correct for my body or for the next person next to me? So this is already, even if it's not 1,000% correct, because I think people are really worried about hallucinations of AI. But even if it's not 1,000% correct, it's still better than a general food chart that is used for the entire United States.
The future of medicine, the future of education, the future of any kind of skill building or service is going to be personalized, deeply personalized. We're going to have AI agents which are accustomed to and know about our particular lifestyles. And one of the reasons why we are interested in teaching people how to use AI is because we believe that once you know how to use AI, you will use it in your own way, right? And this might sound scary to some people who are, let's say, closer to my age, who are in their 40s, 50s, who are maybe the same generation that 20 years ago needed to learn Excel and use a computer at work, and they felt like they maybe don't understand how computers work. But here we are. Probably most of those people, if not all of them, are now in their 60s using Excel. So why wouldn't we give the same chance to people my age who are maybe a little bit adversarial towards AI? They don't really know how it works. We created a very streamlined, easy, everyday language classes where you literally can click how to log in and then go through the basic interface of ChatGPT, for instance, and then go through some of the basic ways you can ask a question or create a prompt. And then also, this is just the beginning. Also, we have a massive part which is business use cases for HR, for accounting, for admin, for any kind of work that is repetitive. If you can cut out, one of the parts of our mission is if we can cut 30 minutes of your day from doing menial tasks, repetitive tasks, we're happy.
That's already great.
Yeah.
That's already great. A lot of people don't enjoy these repetitive tasks. So it's not like anyone's stealing their job. They're just going to spend time doing what they actually want to do and why they got hired.
Same thing as you can calculate things by hand, or you can use the sum function in Excel, right? And then you can pull and get every cell to do it automatically. So AI has potential of that times 100, for things that you don't even imagine are repetitive.
Augmented up of what Excel could already do, and it's much easier and, let's say, user-friendly to use.
Yeah, what also helps is that people don't necessarily need to know Excel anymore. Let's say they need an average of something, they have no idea how to do it. They can ask AI to do it for them, or they can learn with AI how to do it. And that's kind of the power of AI. It allows you to be a better version of yourself and to eliminate the menial tasks that really just take up your time.
I love that you guys have built this AI school in Croatian, so actually in a language that's native to this country. Why did you do that, and how do you feel is there more success because you localize it? Because I think there are a lot of courses, or not even, let's say a lot of courses, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of TikTok, Instagram content that's fast consumable for AI in English. But I feel like these other smaller regions are really, let's say, a step behind. Maybe slightly because of EU regulations, but also just because of the language barrier for a lot of 40 plus people who aren't familiar with computers. They're just not interested in even trying.
I would say a lot of people who are 40 plus are very familiar with computers. They might just not be familiar with the most the newest trends, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing they just wanna and they give you the main word. You can explain more about it. One thing that really is important for me is that like what we're trying to do is we're trying to do something in the local market because we are Croatian.
Yeah.
And like I personally, my mission is to teach Croatia how to use AI.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want people in my country to be as best as they can in this skill.
Yeah.
So this is why I am interested in doing this. And then, yeah.
What I would first love to kind of showcase as an example is there are a lot of local people, for example in Croatia, Portugal, Spain, France and so on, who do not speak English or cannot find content on English or do not search in English. And a good example of this, the best example, how you can see how massive amount of data and how people interact with it is, for example, the biggest YouTuber, Mr. Beast. When he started his other channels like Mr. Beast in Portuguese, Spain and so on, it blew up. It went to a new market that had no idea who he is, and he implemented and reached that target and made their lives better. What we want to do here for Croatia is provide them with the tools. It's not always necessary to go global. You don't need to go for English right away. You don't need to teach everyone. Help the local market. Help people who are around you. Get real feedback. Make the courses better. What we really want to, the problem we have with YouTube videos or YouTube courses and so on, they are not updated at all. Take a look at any ChatGPT course on the market right now. It has nothing about 4.0. Take a look at any new course on Midjourney. It has old prompts and so on. What we want to do is a constantly updated platform with the latest videos on the latest tools.
Yeah, I think
because
that's already like a huge plus. Just as you said, there's just not enough content being generally created. There's a lot of content being created when things are got out. But yeah, long form content is really, taking more time in other countries as well.
One of the things that I wanted to mention is when I was a kid, access to instant knowledge was scarce. But today, it's overwhelming. So you could go on YouTube and learn most of the things that we have in AI School. Like absolutely, like there's no doubt that if you spend time, and this is how we learn as well. Like we're constantly updating ourselves. But the way that we conceptualized creating this knowledge learning is when you take our course, you learn everything you need, right? You don't have that sense of maybe I could learn this somewhere else. Maybe somewhere else is better. Because what we do is we create different types of courses for different audiences, but they're all based on very practical examples and real world problems that people need to solve every day. And we get this through talking to our local market, people who we are involved in the tech community, in the business world, and we are helping them solve very practical problems that they have no idea that they can be done better and faster. And some of our first testimonials are people just being absolutely thrilled by, oh, I had to do this like really dumb report and I ended up doing it with ChatGPT and it took me 20 minutes. Like, this is amazing. Like, please, and we heard this from a friend of a friend, and he was like, please tell the crew in AI School that they're doing great work. And we're like, this is why we do this.
Yeah.
I had one of the people in my class who also took the AI School. She told me I started writing blogs again. Yeah. She went back to her hobby because it was always such a pain for her, because she had to go, write a new blog post, then do it to WordPress, then do this, blah, blah, blah. Everything that can be automated with ChatGPT and other AI tools.
Yeah, exactly. You can figure out things that you wanted to before. I want to try that too. I haven't explored that part of AI as much, and I think I'll make it as a personal project over this summer. I used to play piano a lot, and I feel like I have stopped for a long time, and I'm wondering if ChatGPT has any good tips and tricks to get back into the game.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
See how it's gonna work.
Yeah, 100%. There are also, as you mentioned, for piano, there are piano apps that can help you learn, just so you know. So take a look at those. They're based on AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's all around us, and I think that the awareness is a little slower, but as we're getting there, we realize almost all the tools that we have been using in the last 10 years have incorporated some sort of machine learning behind them in order to make them easier for us to consume.
one of our key messages is also you don't need to understand how it works to use it, right? So you don't need to understand how a remote on a TV works to press a button to turn it on. You don't need to understand how machine learning works. You don't need to understand what a neural network is. But if people are interested in that, this is something that we are also considering, also deepening their knowledge in what we do. But right now, our primary concern is to get people to start using AI now, right?
Yeah.
Log on to AI School, look at the video. You will immediately understand how to log in and how to use ChatGPT in like 10 minutes of your time, right? Like after that, it's up to you, really, right? Like, do you want to continue and you see the value in like the service that we provide, or you want to learn by yourself? Like, absolutely, you can do both. But in my opinion, I love when I feel like I have a confident teacher leading me through the things that I need to know, because I always think about, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think about the knowledge gaps. It's like, okay, I'm going to use it, but like it's not enough because I don't know every single thing that I need to do with this. But actually, like the way that we try to create a course is it's comprehensive enough for you to understand most of what you can do very quickly with very, very practical examples.
It's just like anything with a tour guide, right? So you're going to go through into a new city or go hike up a mountain. It's going to be much easier if you have a guide kind of showing you the way. You're going to learn a lot more about that city in a lot more shorter time than if you just, open up a map on Google and hope for the best. They're going to be able to give personal experience and personal insights, what works in the local market. And I think that's exactly like the huge value that you both are bringing your whole team. So I checked out the site. It's like very cool what you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with everyone in the audience. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about AI.
It's a pleasure. And for everybody who's listening, watching, check out AI School. We are currently, right now we have a promotion for a course for free. In the future we're going to have more promotions, and we're always looking to see what kind of new things we can build. So the people who are listening to this, watching this, who are interested, please let us know and tell us what you want to learn about. And this is the kind of stuff we're also going to create.
Yeah, amazing. Cool.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. You can watch AI Searched on YouTube, Google, Apple, and Spotify. Let us know in the comments what you think.